Hey elementary students, welcome back to our Sunday morning. It's Pastor Dan here, and we are so excited to see you every Sunday morning this way. Hopefully you've been enjoying our time as we continue to talk about this idea of focus. Yeah, we talked about this a little bit last week, that we're continuing on just with you guys as an elementary on this idea of focus. But our focus is going to change over the next couple weeks because we're going to talk about this idea of faith. So we're going to be focusing on faith the next couple weeks. So why don't you join me in a quick song of worship, and we'll be right back as we continue on as we talk about this idea of focusing on our faith.
Everything you do is beautiful. Oh, all that you have made is wonderful. Oh, so I will sing it out, shout it loud. My God is amazing, and I will celebrate, give Him thanks. My God is amazing.
All right, we are back. We are talking about focus, but about focusing on faith. The word we're going to use over the next couple weeks is focus on faith, or using our faith to focus. We're going to talk about what it means, what that word means to have faith, to use our faith, to look through the world and see our world through our faith. Faith is that something that we talk about when it comes to the idea of belief. We use the word faith a whole lot in church and around our ministry. So we want to make sure that you, as an elementary student, understand that word and how that word and that idea and who we are helps us focus and begin to see our world around us. Let's play a kind of quick game if you would, all right? Think about this. Whether you use a microscope, a telescope, or your eyes to see and focus on a few of these things. The first one, Absolutely, it's the moon. We use a telescope to focus our eyes to see the moon better. My son has a great telescope at home, and we use that to look at the moon. How about this one? An ant, right? We can look at an ant with our bare eyes, but maybe if we had a microscope, maybe a magnifying glass even, we could see an ant and the details of an ant much, much better than with our bare eyes. How about this one? A book, right? We don't need a microscope or a telescope to read a book. We can focus our eyes on a book, maybe just using our eyes, maybe you wear glasses or contacts. That helps us focus. How about this one? Computer, right? We don't need a telescope or microscope to see our computers we're using right now at school. But it helps us, maybe we have once again, some glasses to help us refocus our eyes. Maybe your mom and dad put on their glasses when they use the computer. How about this one? Music, right? So you are musical people. You use your bare eyes to see the notes and focus your eyes and your attention on playing music. How about your hair, right? You can see it, you can see my hair, but I think a magnifying glass or a microscope would help you see the details, the little nuances of what it looks like to have hair, what the hair looks like underneath. A microscope would be so much cooler than just looking at it with your bare eyes. One last one, salt. Have you ever looked at salt under a microscope? You can see the details so much better than just what you look at with your bare eyes. See, each one of the things gives us an opportunity to see something more, see something deeper. There's certain things we can see with our bare eyes, see with just our world. But a telescope brings the things that are far away closer. And the microscope brings the smaller things into focus so we can see them more clearly and see the details. That's what faith is. It's giving us an opportunity to focus on the things around us, whether to bring them close to us or see the details of things that we can't see. Focus is what we're going to talk about right now as we head into our lesson time. What does it look like for us to have a faith that focuses us on our world and also on what we believe? What does it look like for us to understand the world around us, but understand who we are by how we focus? It comes out of this idea of knowing and understanding faith. I want you to join us right now as we head back in to our special time of teaching with our new lesson.
Great. Hey everybody, I'm Erica and I'm so excited about it being summertime! Summertime, yeah. Ooh, 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 ooh. One reason I'm so excited is because I have developed my very own STEAM lab. Look at it, check it out, check it out, check it out, check it out. Look at, wow. Isn't that so awesome? You're probably wondering what that stands for. Science, technology, engineering, art, and mathematics. And I'm not totally sure how things will go in my lab this summer, but luckily I have faith. Faith is trusting in what you can't see because of what you can see. You see? You see what I did there? I have faith that I'll learn a lot and probably have fun doing so. I mean, just look at this place! Check it out. Wow! Oh, wait. Perfect. Check out this microscope! Microscope, 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 microscope! I've always been amazed how microscopes can let you see things that you normally can't see. Take hair, for instance. Ow. Ah, look at that one. See, it looks like a thin line. Mine's kind of curly. Ooh, you can't see it, can you? But put it under a microscope. Wow! Cool, right? What about the inside of a piece of grass? Put it under a microscope. Whoa! Look at that! The inside looks like a whole bunch of smiley face emojis. I mean, you never see that just by looking at grass. Today's Bible story is all about not being able to see everything, but remembering that God always does. It's like He's always looking through a microscope or something. So, let's take a look at this story and see what we can find. Unbelievable! Is that really what my hair looks like?
The Bible. It's 66 books of history, stories, letters, and poetry that fit together to form God's one big story. The epic adventure of how He created us and loves us so much that He made a way to rescue us. As we travel through the Bible, from Genesis to Revelation, we discover people who met God and found their lives changed forever. Now for an amazing story, inspired by the book of Hebrews, chapters 11 and 12.
Gotta have a little faith, 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 faith. Keep the faith. Take a leap of faith. You know, a lot of people toss around the word faith lately. We say you can break the faith, or just take it all on blind faith. But true faith isn't blind at all. It's much more than just an inspirational word. True faith has to do with believing in all the things you can't see, because you start with what you can see. Now, we can't see God with our physical eyes, but we can see the stories of people who came before us. They lived in a broken world like we do, but they chose to follow God. They chose to trust His promise that one day He would send a rescuer that would make everything right again. The writer of Hebrews in the New Testament tells us about some of these men and women in God's story. People like Noah, people like Abraham.
Abraham.
When God called Abraham, he was already getting old. He and his wife Sarah didn't have kids.
Leave your country and your people. Leave your father's family. Go to the land I will show you. All nations on earth will be blessed because of you.
God was planning on sending His rescuer as one of Abraham's great, etc. grandchildren. But still, even though Abraham had God's promise, he still couldn't see the one God was sending. Still, Abraham went on a wild adventure, following God's call. And even his descendants, Isaac, Jacob, and Joseph, all chose faith in God. Moses, too, was called by God from the fiery heart of a burning bush. Even though he was raised by Pharaoh's daughter, he chose to stand with his own people and face Pharaoh's anger to win freedom. We read about it like this in the book of Hebrews.
Moses suffered shame because of Christ. He thought it of great value.
See, when you check out Hebrews, you discover this huge list of people who followed God by faith, so many that the writer just stops trying to list all of them. Oh, but we can't forget Israel's most important king, David.
Get up and anoint him. This is the one.
Even though God had promised David would be king, though, David spent years on the run from King Saul, fearing for his life. Still, he chose to trust God.
The Lord is my shepherd. He gives me everything I need.
Now, none of these people in the Old Testament could see with their eyes how God was going to save His people, but they could see how He was working in their lives, how their needs were being met. So they chose to believe in His greater plan. They chose faith.
Faith is being sure of what we hope for. It is being sure of what we do not see. That is what the people of long ago were praised for.
Now, here's where the story turns. In Hebrews, we discover that none of those people in the Old Testament received what God had promised here on earth.
That's because God had planned something better for us, so they would only be made perfect together with us.
God's plan includes all of us from the very beginning of creation. So at just the right moment, at the perfect point in time, God sent His rescuer, the hero, His very own Son, Jesus. Jesus showed us how to live. He showed us what God was like, and He told us the most important thing.
If you love one another, everyone will know you are my disciples.
Love God, love others. It's the heart of the whole story. But then, Jesus was killed, and His friends thought the story was finished. Period. Dot. The end. Until God raised Him back to life. Jesus has defeated death, and those who follow Him can live with Him forever. But how do you follow someone you can't see? Well, that brings us back to faith.
Let us keep looking to Jesus. He is the one who started this journey of faith, and He is the one who completes this journey of faith. He paid no attention to the shame of the cross. He suffered there because of the joy he was looking forward to. So think about him. Then you won't lose hope.
The early believers, Peter and John and other followers of Jesus, had seen him teach and heal. They saw him after God raised him to life. But after Jesus returned to heaven, the believers continued to live by faith.
We have to speak about the things we've seen and heard.
Because of what the new Christians in the early church had seen, they could believe in what they could not yet see, the end of the story, where God makes everything right. They kept the faith, and because they did, we can choose faith too.
Woo! Take a look at this one. Any guesses on what that is? It's the inside of a carnation stem. It's amazing how things look so different under a microscope than they do just with our eyes. It makes me think of Hebrews chapter 11. It's where we can look back to all these people in history who had faith in God. Even though they couldn't always see how things would turn out, they believed God and his promises. They lived by faith. And you can live by faith too. In fact, having faith in Jesus and what he did for you on the cross is what makes it possible for you to have a relationship with God. Relationship status update. Even though we can't see Jesus in person, we can still have faith in him because we can see how he's worked in the lives of the people who've come before us. That's the one thing to remember today. You can know Jesus even though you've never seen him. If you want to know Jesus more and you don't know where to start, try talking with someone who has put their faith in Jesus. Or you can read the stories in the Bible of the people who trusted God long ago. There are lots of things we can see that can help us have faith. So, I hope you guys have an awesome day! I'm gonna look at a few more things under my microscope. Like maybe my nail! Ah! Let's check it out! Oh, I need to wash my hands better. This microscope tells you a lot.
We're going to continue on with our teaching time together with you here at the Kids Work Studio, going back into God's Word. Found in Hebrews 11:1, we're going to talk about a very important verse that we're going to spend some time talking about the next couple weeks as well. Here's the verse. It says this: faith is being sure of what we hope for, and is being sure of what we do not see. See, faith is connected to this idea of hope. Not a wish kind of hope, but an understanding of how great, good God is that gives us hope, gives us a moment of understanding that there's something to hope for in our world. See, it's not living hopelessly, it's living with hope. We know there's a whole lot of people right now, maybe even in your world and in your life, they're feeling kind of hopeless, kind of feeling down and depressed and sad about what's going on in our world. But we know that we can look at our world through faith and have hope. It's more than just a wish. It's an understanding that we have a loving, amazing God that is going to be there for us and that can give us hope in a hopeless world. The other part of this verse is this idea of knowing and understanding our world through the unseen. It says we can be sure of what we do not see. See, a lot of people are living very unsure lives right now. They're very insecure. They're very scared. But if we have faith, what happens is our life becomes more focused, right? And what we can know and understand is the unseen things of this world are seen through the things we can see. Like we talked about it in Indescribable series, in our last focus series, we can look around our world and see an amazing God right in front of us. Even though we cannot see God, we can see his power, we can see his works, we can see his love through the world around us. See, faith is trusting in what we can't see because of what we can see. See, we can look at our world and have a different focus Like we talked about at the very beginning, we can look at the stars, we can look at salt, we can look at the ants. Each one of those things are things that we can see with our eyes. And then as we look at the details of those things, we realize there's an amazing God who's a creator, a designer, an indescribable God like we've talked about. And what that does is gives us an understanding of the unseen. See, we have this amazing hope. And most importantly, we can know Jesus even though we cannot see him. Beyond God the Creator, we also have this amazing Son, Jesus Christ. And we have this faith in him. Even though we can't see him, we can believe in him. So I want to give you a challenge. If you've never made a personal belief decision for Jesus Christ in your life, take that moment right now. Spend some time talking with your mom, your dad, maybe older brother or sister, grandma, grandpa in your life, and talk to them about what it looks like to have Jesus in their lives. Even though we can't see Jesus, our faith in him changes our world. Our focus can be different because we have Jesus in our lives. Do you understand what this whole idea of faith is? I have one more thing I want to share with you. Watch this next clip and you can maybe hopefully understand a little more about faith as we wrap this time up this morning.
What do you believe in? You believe I can catch a ball because you just saw me do it. You believe your dog is shedding his winter coat because you can see all the fur that your dad makes you clean up. You believe the floor is solid because you haven't fallen through it yet. Some people say seeing is believing, but faith says use what you can see to believe in what you can't see. You can't see the wind, but on those wild, stormy evenings, you can see what it does. Whew. You can't see what's happening inside your stomach without an x-ray machine, but you believe that this can be fixed by this. You can't see your parents' love, but you can see the way your mom cuts your sandwich just the way you like it, and how dad drives you to soccer 4 times a week. And no, you can't see God with your physical eyes, but you can see him in everything he's created. You can see his love in the kid who's kind to you on the bus, and the drive-thru lady who smiles and gives you extra fries. Most of all, you can see who God is in Jesus and the eyewitness accounts written down by his best friends. When you trust, even when it's hard to see, when you live a life based on faith in who God is and how he tells us to love, others can see God at work in you. That's why faith is an amazing way to worship God with your life. Because worship is about more than just singing loud. It's all about living loud.
Hey, we love having these times with you on Sunday mornings. Hopefully you are enjoying these. I know it's a little different, as always, not to be here in person. We are working on that. We are praying through that. But for now, we are going to continue on with our focus series for our elementary students. And this focus series is going to be about faith, like you've kind of heard the last couple minutes. But here's what I want to do. I want you to have a challenge with me. That if you have never accepted Jesus Christ as your faith focus of your life, we would invite you to do that this morning. If you're not sure what that means or how to do that, feel free to call me, email me. Moms, dads, if you're listening, we would love to help you have that conversation at home. If you're not sure how to have the conversation, please, moms, dads, email me, call me. We would love to be a part of that next step. We would invite you over here. We'll have some masks on together. We'll social distance, but we would love to have an in-person conversation with you and your child. Another way that you can really focus your faith at home is through our Focus Devotional. If you've not seen that or don't know this, we have an 8-week devotional that is available through our website to purchase. You can spend some time every single day focusing your whole family on this idea of faith and strengthening your faith journey as a family. I would encourage you to pick up that book. It is a great devotional book. So a lot of you guys I know have already started doing it. You're about 4 weeks into it. We have another 4 weeks left of this series, and you have 4 weeks left to grab this book or just start it for the first time right now. Thank you so much for joining us. We will see you next week as we continue to focus on faith.